10 people who were banned from My 600 Pound Life. Before we start, I'd want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. And comment down below, I subscribe, for a chance to win our shoutout giveaway. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Film Discover. My 600 Pound Life is a motivational and life-transforming show. Viewers often see the positive sides of patients. However, some patients take things too far and get themselves banned from participating on the show again. We've listed 10 patients who were banned off the show. Penny Sager. Penny Sager appeared on My 600 Pound Life Season 2, rendering her one of the reality show's OGs. But unlike her fellow co-stars that season, Sager didn't comply with Dr. Now's diet and exercise plan. Although she did drop 40 pounds while hospitalized at the beginning of her episode, which qualified her for her weight loss surgery, those pounds weren't lost for long. She even managed to gain weight after the surgery.
You knew that from day one, so what are you gonna do about it?
Shanae Murray. During her time in the hospital, the staff had noticed that her husband, Freddie, was sneaking in burgers and pizza. Once Dr. Now finds out, he immediately confronts the couple. He comes storming into the room with some damning evidence, and though Shanae tries to desperately claim that it was Freddie eating the food, Dr. Now drops the pizza box and points the fingers of truth. He reminds her that she hasn't lost any weight since day one, and in fact, she has gained 50 pounds. He also informs her that he knows about the secret burgers too, and her clever scheme of hiding the evidence. Shanae denies that she's been eating junk food at all, hilariously, and even tries to point out that she didn't eat anything at all. She was never approved for surgery and was sent back. Angela Johns. Season 7 of the show brought one of the most controversial stars in history, Angela Johns. She suffered from a tragic backstory involving abuse, drug addiction, and even prison time. As a result of multiple traumas, Johns turned to food, eventually weighing over 608 pounds by the time she reached out to Dr. Now. But not only was Johns downright combative with Dr. Now, she claimed he was punishing her. She also tested positive for opiate use and heavy cigarette smoking. Johns didn't go to rehab and claimed Dr. Now was lying about everything. James King. Some patients on My 600 Pound Life are so gone that they are almost completely immobile, unable to care for themselves, and confined to their bed because of their weight. That was the case for James King, who weighed in at 791 pounds when viewers first saw him on Season 5, but it's hard to have much sympathy for King after witnessing his selfish behavior. For one, he had his daughter drop out of school so she could care for him, and his father, who had suffered from a stroke, took out a second mortgage to finance his son's journey to Houston. Even after all of that, King refused to change. He was continually enabled by his girlfriend, Lisa, who wouldn't stop bringing him food. It was so bad that Dr. Now had to call Adult Protective Services on her when he found out she was sneaking food to him in the hospital, even though King was experiencing organ failure.
It is miserable, but whose fault is it?
Mine?
Mercedes Cephas. Of all the stars on My 600 Pound Life, the story of Mercedes Cephas is among the most heartbreaking. After suffering abuse as a child, she began to experience feelings of shame, guilt, and sadness. By the time she was 15 years old, she had packed on 300 pounds and was using food to deal with trauma. But when she was confronted about her eating habits by Dr. Now as an adult, Cephas insisted that she wasn't overeating. She simply claimed that she wasn't eating the right foods, even at 773 pounds. By the end of her episode, after she had only lost around 80 pounds altogether. Angela Gutierrez. When viewers first met Angela Gutierrez on her episode of the show, it was readily apparent that she had been through a lot. By the time she made the journey to Dr. Now with her ex-boyfriend, she weighed in at 608 pounds. And that's in spite of the fact that she had already gotten weight loss surgery. But when Dr. Now charged her to lose weight by following his diet plan, Gutierrez faulted. She started missing appointments and eventually dropped out of the program altogether to return to her home in Ohio. Pauline Potter. Pauline Potter was already infamous before appearing on My 600 Pound Life. That's because she had herself certified as the world's heaviest woman in 2012 Guinness Book of World Records. By the time Potter stepped into Dr. Now office, she weighed 678 pounds, and her health was beginning to suffer because of it. Even so, she was resistant, telling Dr. Now that he was overreacting when he suggested hospitalization to get her weight under control. Potter continued to be stubborn even after having weight loss surgery, repeatedly butting heads to Dr. Now, much to the pain of the viewer.
I haven't done a lot of activity in the last week because my stomach hurts.
I don't think you're getting how serious this situation is.
Cynthia Wells. When the camera started rolling for Cynthia Wells' episodes, her loneliness was palpable. But as a single mom of 5 children, taking care of her family was becoming more difficult because of her weight. At 610 pounds, Wells was becoming less motivated to leave the house and more exhausted anytime she had to move. When it came to following Doctors Now program, however, Wells wasn't willing to be compliant for very long. She managed to earn herself the reputation of being one of the most bull-headed stars of My 600-Pound Life, at one point insulting Dr. Now's program and returning home to Oklahoma City. Chuck Turner. Chuck was nearing 700 pounds at his first weigh-in, and after losing 30 pounds by the follow-up appointment, he got the okay for getting the gastric bypass. Chuck undergoes the operation, and although it doesn't make him eat less, he does admit that it doesn't take away the cravings. So at one point, he actually goes to McDonald's drive-thru for some eggs and bacon. He says the eggs are protein and therefore are healthy, but the protein excuse is pretty common line for a reasoning with patients on the show for cheating on their diet with lower carbs but still unhealthy food items. Lisa Flemings. Lisa Fleming started gaining weight when she was a child, thanks in part to a punishing mother, but it was after she witnessed her brother's murder that her eating truly spiraled out of control. By the time she landed My 600-Pound Life, her weight was over 700 pounds and was confined to her bed. As tragic as a backstory it is, it's not what made Fleming so controversial. Instead, it was the discovery that she had maggots living in her folds of her skin. But after losing weight under medical supervision, Fleming returned home and went back to her old habits. Eventually, Dr. Now dismissed her from his program as she refused to comply with his orders. Tragically, Fleming passed away at the age of 50 in 2018, according to page 6. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos on your screen now because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I will see you in the next video.